Have you ever wanted to be the last of humankind trapped on a foreign planet that relies solely on its air force for survival against alien invaders? Well, then Skyward by Brandon Sanderson will be a great book for you, which I will be breaking down in this week's review. I'm your host, Cody Stike, and this is Unfiltered Fiction. So we are switching it up today just a little bit, and instead of doing the overall rating first, we're going to do a back review before which is new, but this is our first new series, so let's get crazy with it, right? So the back of my cover anyway reads as followed. Defiance of survival, Spence's world has been under attack for decades. Now pilots are the heroes of what's left of the human race, and becoming one has always been Spence's dream, but her fate is becoming one that has always But her fate is intertwined with that of her father, a pilot himself who was killed years ago when he abruptly deserted his team, leaving Spence's chances of attending flight school at slim to none. No one will let Spencer forget what her father did, yet fate works in mysterious ways, and an accidental discovery in a long-forgotten cavern might just provide her a way to claim the stars. I Actually, rereading this, I don't have any complaints. Originally on my outline I did, but like looking back and actually reading it, it's like it did cover that. I just think that there should be a little bit more emphasis on flight school. That's essentially what the book is, as the starter of a quadruplet. I don't know. What's the term? What's the term for four books? Like there's a duology and a wait, what's the one for three? It's not a trilogy. It's a trilogy. Oh my god. What's the word for a series of 4 books then? Now I have to know. Word for a series of 4 books. A tetralogy? It's the first in a tetralogy. I can't ever speak. It's the first in 4 books. So with that out of the way, we move on to the overall review. So in general, this book ended up with a 4.9 rating, so overall 5 stars, and very close to being a solid 5-star book. So we then, per usual, break it down into the 7 categories. And my first category is, of course, quality of writing, which I rated a 4.9. It felt very real. It's first person limited, so it's just Spencer and just her takes on the world and life and like school and everything that's happening to her. It feels very real, I guess, I suppose. First person is supposed to feel real, like you are inside of someone's head, and it did feel like that. There were some like scientific slang terms that I don't think that some readers would like very much. There are a few scientific terms which, I don't know. If you don't like science, this isn't the book for you, which is my next point. Like, it's not for everyone. It's very, I don't know, it mixes two kinds of writing that I don't think go together, but actually works out really well in the end, especially for maybe a younger, more curious audience such as myself. It's like very sci-fi heavy, and then most sci-fi novels are very like third person limited or omniscient, and I think most sci-fi novels that are first person aren't as well received, and this one is a New York Times bestseller, so obviously it was. I don't know, it was just like, if I think of a sci-fi, I don't think of first person, and I think that this did that very well. My second point, character development, I rated this a 4.9. I actually found this to be very visible, and I'm horrible at finding character development if you don't already know, so props to Sanderson for that. It was incredibly visible, I thought. So if you want some like good, like pretty direct character development, this could be a good book for you. Character strengths, I rated this 5 stars. I personally loved everyone in this book with like full-heartedly, like ride or die. And then plot, I rated a 4.9. I thought it was well structured and engaging with like minimal plot holes and all that. I mean, like, sometimes it's predictable and sometimes it is the complete opposite of like, oh my god, what is happening? And I think it's a good mix of predictable and unpredictable. Setting, I rated a 4.8. The planet that they're on, Detrius, felt like it could exist, and this is like several, like, I don't know, million years in the future from where we currently are, so it's like very, very sci-fi, but also like they're trapped on the planet and can't really get off. I also felt like the underground civilization that they live in and are trying to protect was reasonable for the circumstances that they're under. And I personally loved all of the science within this book. I don't think that everyone would, but I personally did. Pace 4.8 takes place over 4 months of flight school, give or take. And I personally did not find any part slow. The chapters are kind of short. If you don't like short chapters, if you do like short chapters, then great. But I thought it was a good balance of like action and then calm and then transition into action and then back to calm. I thought it was a good balance of that. And then the ending, I rated a 4.9, and that is all that I will say about that one. Who would I recommend this to? I'm going to say sci-fi readers, fantasy people who want to explore, any people who are interested in realistic fiction, or people who like exploring like AI within creative writing and fiction. And if you don't like any of those things, then this might just be a pass and take a book off your TBR list, which I know is ever expanding, as is mine. But I think the age range that I would go with this one is probably 13 or 12 plus. 12 or 13 plus. I think that's reasonable. There's no bad language, there's no like explicit things within it, but I think some of the language, I don't want to say language, but some of the terms used can be a little too advanced for younger readers. But I mean, like, if you're a 10th grade reading level as a second grader, like, have fun, I guess. Some parts were a little brutal. There's no like gore. There's no gore. There's no like what I would label as explicit. So some themes that I found were nationalism, just like within the underground society. Not really race. There's race, but like it's not the end all be all like it is in some other settings. It's more about like fighting for your society and your country and what that means to you and what that means to Spencer, our protagonist. There's also a lot of friendship and teamwork and just that, because when you're in the Air Force, it's so collaborative and you're just all working towards the same goal and the same thing, and you all just kind of have to learn how to do that, and I think that this book really does a good job of touching that. And then the next theme I found is power. Power in the sense of a leader and what they can do and what they can't do and what can affect their image or anything like that. Loss is also a big theme in here, along with cowardice. There's a heavy emphasis on whether or not being a coward is shameful and what that means. Really, all that I have. I feel like that's really short. I'm your host, Chloe Stike, and this was Unfiltered Fiction.